Hey guys, my name is Sumner Healey. I'm a 29-year-old entrepreneur, and I'm going to share with you the number one habit that's changed every facet of my life. You see, I've got the classic kind of beginner's journey, all the woes, all the bumps in the road, and really, at 29 years old, my life looks nothing like it did growing up. In fact, my life has gone through a path that it really technically shouldn't have gone down, at least statistically. And I all draw it back to one inflection point. There's an inflection point at 17 years old. There's a lesson that I learned that I have never given up since. A lesson that's been a part of my life every single day since then. And honestly, what I attribute all of my success to. Now, I want to say before I get into it, this is a personal take. I can only speak from my experience. Some of the stuff might not be politically correct. Some of the stuff might piss you off. And I'm not saying that this is truth with a capital T, but this is truth for me. You see, when I was 17 years old, I had just left living with my dad, had a very ruptured, tough, bizarre, estranged relationship there. My mom and I were living in like a 300 square foot little cabin out in East Carmel Valley, beautiful area on a beautiful horse property, but it was very simple living. I would take the bus into high school at 5:30 in the morning. It was like an hour-long bus ride. I didn't have a car up at that point. I had literally no money to my name, and I was ready to change something. On top of it, I was the skinniest kid in my high school. I've been the skinniest kid since the beginning of my life. I mean, in every grade, I was the smallest kid. At that age, I was about $115. You can imagine it's pretty small. And I felt this burning, not rage, but I would just call it a fire in me. I had never seen any inkling of being good at something. I had a really low GPA. I was never on any sports teams or never played well on any sports teams. For my freshman year of high school, I ate my lunch in the bathroom every single day because I was so in my own shell, scared, didn't know who I was. And so I had this fire in me. I didn't know where to direct it though. It was just this burning, like, I need to see something in my life work. I need to see who I am as a person. Up until that point, I had no evidence that I was capable. Of course, I got affirmations from my mom. My mom was very, 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 very loving to me growing up. And honestly, in a lot of ways was the glue that held my life together. I'm not saying I had the hardest life ever. In a lot of ways, I had a very blessed and fortunate life. I never want to disregard that. But I also had a lot of stuff sitting inside, and trauma is relative, right? People with way worse upbringings than I have. I want to make that clear. But at the same time, I can only speak to what I was feeling. I just felt like I wasn't getting love from my dad. I wasn't getting accolades and recognition in school. I wasn't getting accolades or recognition on sports teams. I wasn't getting recognition and accolades from peers or girls. I had no money. I was getting no recognition or accolades there. And I was only getting accolades from my mom, which goes a long way, but ultimately I was looking for it in other places. And so at this time, I started just going deep. I put my hands in a lot of different buckets. I would stay up all night researching different business models. In fact, my mom had that little cabin, and it was my mom and my sister and I. We didn't have enough room in there, so we actually got one of those like Home Depot like tool sheds that you can get, and then we put like a window in there and insulation. We were living out in the country, so it get cold out in the winter. We made it into like my little cabin, and I had a bed, I had my little desk, and I had my laptop. And I was just sitting there and just grind, man. I was just on forums trying to find an angle, just a thing. So while I was doing that, I was also going deep on personal development. I was listening to Wayne Dyer. I was listening to Tony Robbins. I was just brainwashing myself with it. Listening to it on the way to school, listen to it constantly. But in that time, I wasn't getting any traction. Like nothing was working. I was in this learning mode, but nothing was working. I wanted to change my body, and I felt superficial. And everyone in my family was like, "Why do you want to go to the gym? That's change your day." But I remember begging my grandma, begging her, "Can I please use your membership?" Couldn't afford a membership at the time, but she had a membership and she had a buddy pass. But I would have to coordinate. I'd have to get her to pick me up from high school, take me to the gym, and she didn't really like doing it. So I only went a few times with her, and it just didn't really work, right? But I got like this little bit of an inkling. I remember the first workout I ever went to the gym and just punished myself. I had no idea what I was doing, but I just hit legs until I started crying. I remember just bawling my eyes out. There was just so much pent up in me. And it's the first time I had an outlet just to let that shit go and just let it out. I remember limping out of the gym. I remember being sore for no joke, like 5 days. Like I was just rocked, but I was hooked. And so I found out my dad had this membership to this gym. And even though we weren't on great terms, I would sneak in under their membership. But I had to use my mom's car to get there. There's a little place called Chamisol out in my hometown. And about 3 to 4 days a week, usually at like 7, 8 o'clock at night, I would take my mom's car with her knowing. There were some times where I did it without even having my license. My mom and I had this brown Mazda MPV minivan from, I don't know, the 90s or the 80s. Funny little car, brown exterior, brown interior. We loved that car though. We just loved it. And the irony is like during this whole saga of being with my mom and my sister out on this horse property. Like in a lot of ways, while there was a lot of tough moments, my mom had just gotten a divorce, like there was a lot going on, but in the same vein, it was some of our fondest memories. And it really brought us really close as a family. And when I look back, that was the catalyst. That was a shift in my life. And in that moment, I recognized I am the only one that's going to do this. I am the only person that's going to save myself. My mom had just split. Our relationship with my dad and I was fractured or done, at least at the time. And I was like, all right, it's on me. And I had this want to be able to provide for my mom and a sister, not even in just a financial way, but just to be something, be a rock, be an anchor or support system, and create stability in our little ecosystem. And so, yeah, it's just side tangent. It's just funny how you look back on these memories. But what's so hard in the time, I look back with rose-colored lenses, and it's one of the greatest times of my life in a lot of ways. So I started going to the gym, and it was the first time in my life I'd ever gotten any kind of positive feedback, any kind of loop that showed me, holy shit, like I'm capable. Both because I was pushing myself in the gym. I was just grinding it out. I mean, I kid you not, for the first 6 months, the amount of times I cried while working out, I don't know what it was. I don't know if I was pushing my central nervous system or it was just an outlet that I needed. The fact that I was doing something that on paper people classified as hard, growing up, I'd heard all these limiting beliefs around working out and how tough it is. I just excel. I just loved it, man. I ate up the fact that people thought it was hard and I could do it with no willpower. It took nothing. In fact, I would just dream about it. I would literally fall asleep thinking about working out. I'd dream about it. And then about a year in, I went from 115 pounds to about 160, 165 pounds. And so big positive feedback. I mean, everyone in my life recognized, like, holy shit, you look different, man. Friends, family, girls, like everywhere. It was like, whoa, you've changed. And so to get that feedback, to get those accolades, to get proof or evidence that I was capable, it broke my frame of thinking. In fact, it was a pattern interrupt for my life that I had never experienced before. And I was hooked. But here's the takeaway. That little superficial exercise, pun intended, of changing my body gave me a data set that then told me, Sumner, you can do this elsewhere. You don't have to just apply that same level of focus, energy, intention, work ethic, whatever you want to call it, to weightlifting. If you can do that there, you can do that anywhere. It completely shattered my worldview. It opened my eyes to what I was capable of. And so my number one success habit to you is if you cannot control your body, you are not successful, in my opinion. That's my world. And you don't have to be some bodybuilder. You don't even have to lift weights. But if you are out of shape, if you're eating poorly, if you're abusing your body, I don't care how much money you have in your bank account or whatever it may be, my opinion, you are not successful. You're not. That is a core tenet. That is a baseline. If you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that is one of the bottom levels, in my opinion. And on top of that, if you are down and out in your life and you don't know what direction to go, in my opinion, it always starts with taking control of your body. It's this amazing positive snowball that happens. So you get this feedback that you're capable. You prove to yourself that you can do hard things. You prove to yourself that you no longer have to rely on motivation. You build up this inner reservoir of willpower and discipline that you can tap into like that. I don't ever miss training, no matter how I feel. Doesn't matter. Never once does it slip into my mind that I shouldn't. In fact, I'm addicted to that feeling of pushing myself beyond what I think is possible. 3 years ago, I decided to go to New York on a whim, unorganized, and run 31 miles to see what I was made of. I ran the perimeter of Manhattan with 2 weeks of training to see what I was capable of. You build up this want to push and understand who you are and what you can achieve. And it starts with baby steps. I couldn't have done that when I first started, but you start to build evidence and you start to build momentum. Outside of that, you start to regain your energy. Taking control of your body and eating well and treating your body well builds a new layer of energy. You tap into more positivity. You tap into this vital essence, this vital energy. Ironically, people think that working out takes energy. No, it gives energy. Yes, you exert energy, but you always get more back in return. And so now if we just look at it as a health meter, if we say every day you have 50 energy points before working out, now you've got 100 energy points. So you can do infinitely more with that. So it's just this crazy positive spiral that rapidly changes your life. And you might be thinking, if you're down and out on your life, like, why would working out be the thing I should focus on? Why would that matter? It seems like, oh, I should just go and solve the other problems and go immediately to the source and go work on those. But honestly, everything that's worth doing in life is effing hard. And if you've got no evidence or no positive feedback that you're capable of hard things, you're never going to be able to do the big stuff. Because honestly, going to the gym is easy. Getting in shape, pretty easy. Eating well, pretty easy. Going and building a big business and leading people, or like that stuff, to me is more difficult. That's my humble opinion. Again, I'm only speaking from my experience. So go build a case study. Like, just if I wanted to build a new business and get customers, I got to create a case study to show them that we're capable or competent on the service or product that we can deliver on. I need to do the same for myself. We need positive evidence of what we're capable of. So start at the foundational level. And my life from 17 years old has taken a path that I feel like on a lot of levels, I never would have expected. And I can draw all of it back from the day that I walked into the gym, the day that I walked into In Shape Fitness. My life has never been the same since. And ultimately, while gym culture might pooed and frowned upon, and there's a lot of superficial bullshit, and I get that. You also surround yourself, though, in an environment where people are actively trying to improve themselves. I mean, if I had to look at it as a cohort of people and look for a predictor of success, I would say being in shape is one of the best predictors of success, without a shadow of a doubt. So you're putting yourselves in rooms where people are actively trying to improve themselves, not only in the gym, but in every other area. There's a sense of can-do attitude. There's a sense of positivity that you don't find in most other places. And I know there's a lot of baggage and stuff that comes with fitness culture. I'm not saying it's all good. There's a lot of ego there for sure. But if you're in a tough spot, or if you're in a place where you don't feel like people are lifting you up, or you don't know how to find friends or find a positive group, start by going to the gym, or start by picking up some kind of physical pursuit. Join a running club, do hot yoga, go to a boxing gym, go to somewhere where people are deciding on their own whim to push themselves. You need to be in that group. In fact, you need to become that person that belongs in that group. I've had the good fortune of meeting a lot of entrepreneurs in the last, 10 years of being an entrepreneur. And without fail, the people that I meet that are playing the game at the highest level, they carry the same energy and intensity to their work, and they bring it to all other areas of their life. They're always looking for an opportunity to discover themselves, to push themselves, and to see what they're made of. But don't wait to do that until you have the thing. Start doing that in every area today, and you create the kind of person that has the big things. I always say, to have the big stuff, you need to sweat the small stuff. Sweat what you put in your body. Sweat when you go to bed. Care about how you move your body. Care about your posture. Care about your hygiene. I mean, all these small things that seem like it's irrelevant. Oh, you need to sweat the small stuff to ever get the big stuff. Now, one thing that I need to put here as a preface, and I think I've been fortunate in this case because I never really fell into this trap, but I've seen this as a very, 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 very big trap. Now, going to the gym does not take the place of doing the work that you need to do. And what I mean by that is most folks in the gym, most folks that are building businesses, most folks that are trying to build big things or do big things have a deep sense of lack within themselves. They're trying to patch that lack with some kind of superficial accolades or achievement. That will never work. If you've got baggage, you got trauma, you got stuff that you're holding on to, this is not a supplement for doing the work. This is a way to get into momentum. And that momentum can lead you to eventually saying, why don't I do the work on myself? Why don't I see what's in here that's making me feel like this? So I don't want to misconstrue the two. But again, if I had to choose where to start, if I said you should start working on yourself or you should start going to the gym and working out, I would always pick going to the gym and working out without fail, without a question. So look at, if you're watching this and you're not treating your body well, you don't have sacred time every day to do something for your body, whether it's walking, stretching, lifting, running, jumping on a trampoline, I don't care. It's time to adopt that behavior. Same thing. If you are putting junk in your body and you are abusing your body, that is a form of disrespect to yourself, in my opinion. I don't care who you are, what walk of life you come from. You deserve to feel good. You deserve to have positive energy in your life. You deserve to have moments that show you how capable you are. And this is not to shame people that are out of shape at all. At all. Never want to get that twisted. We're all dealt different cards, but I think it's a fundamental right as a human to feel good in your body. And for whatever reason, we're not taught these things. People don't talk about these things because the generations above us are lost. They're just as lost as we are. So it's time to break these patterns. And this is something that honestly should be taught in school. How to get back into our bodies, how to get back into our essence, how to tap into our unlimited reservoir of power. So yeah, I don't know. Just on my mind. Hope that helps.